us more about some cultural differences is Maria too.
I do want to discuss about cultural differences, and even amongst us in the rooms, we have many cultural differences, and I think that we can all learn and really benefit from just a little insight as to the differences. And I'm just going to touch on a few little points that I think will make a difference in your futures and dealing with people from other cultures. Is okay really just okay? Now, if you do this, to us it means, okay, good job, right? Well, if you're in Europe and you do this, it does not mean okay. Do not do this in Europe. It means butthole. In Japan, it means money. In Brazil, it's just as bad as in Europe, very insulting and degrading. And in Russia, it means zero, right? Zero. So just for you to keep aware that okay sometimes is not just okay. All right? So we'll leave this here as a little prop. In different parts of the world, things that we do on a day-to-day basis really have different reactions and are interpreted many different ways. And I know, being a New Yorker coming down here, when I started doing presentations, and I talk a lot with my hands, and I really do kind of think it's how I speak. It's part of my culture. It's part of my growing up. But when I would speak to some people, I know that they took offense when I would do this, and I didn't really understand why that was. And apparently, I don't know if it's a Southern thing or if it goes way back into slavery days, but apparently this is telling people to stop and not continue with their process or whatever it is that they're working on. To me, it's just, okay, this is it for me. In the Indian culture, if you show the sole of your foot, so if you do one of these and you cross your legs and the bottom of your shoe faces an Indian person, that is very offensive to them. That to them is, and part of that is where they threw the shoes at Hussein's statue. The shoes are the bottom, they're the lowlifes. So if you're cleaning somebody's feet, you are actually the servant, or you're waiting on them. And in the Indian culture, when they see the bottom of your feet, they take offense as it's insulting that you're walking on them or offending them in that way. So be aware of that. In the Lebanese culture, men walk down the streets hand in hand. And they hold each other's hand. They are not gay. They are just having conversation, and that is really how they hang out with each other. They walk and they talk and they hold hands. They also take people by their arms. Men will take another man by their arm in order to start conversation with them. Here, if you touch a man on their arm, they're like, get off of me. It's not the right thing to do. So I think all of these things really come into play as you're dealing with people from different cultures, and we are a big melting pot. So I think it's something that's important to consider. And in Asian cultures, now I've gone through, did a little research on the different various cultures, and there are there's so much information out there that it's astounding. You can spend weeks looking this up and never really getting to the point. In Asian cultures, when you give somebody a business card, it's deemed, you give it to them with two hands. And they should be, if you're dealing with people of the Asian culture, you should take two hands on your business card, give it to them, and treat it as if it's a gift. And they will take it in their hand, and if you notice, they will always look at what it is you gave them. And they revere it. They really do appreciate that you're giving it to them. Where here in America, we pretty much just throw our cards on the table and walk around and we leave and we put them in our pockets. And I know many times when I've shown properties and I go and I leave a business card, or I'll go in for a listing presentation and I'll hand the owner the business cards, they right away, they'll put it in their hand. By the time I'm done and we sit down, it's curled up in their hand. It means nothing. Or they'll put it down and then they don't really remember where it was. So keep in mind some of the things that we do as Americans really aren't appreciated all over the world. Especially sometimes the way we speak And I see a very big difference even from the northeast to the southeast. In New York, you ask me a question and I'm going to say, yeah. Not yes, sir, or yes, ma'am. And that's what I love most about the Southern culture is they still have those mannerisms and they still have the pleasantries that we've lost up in the Northeast. And it's sad, but I do really appreciate that down here. So yeah, I'm from New York, but I love the yes, sir, and the yes, ma'ams. I really do love that. And I also learned in my little research for this speech that in Russia, if the woman is sitting at a table for dinner, the man will always pour the drinks for them. Is that true? Yeah? And if there is a bowl of fruit sitting next to you, it could be sitting right here next to Carrie, and I could be sitting next to him there. And I could be looking at the fruit, but I'm not going to grab it. The man should give it to me. And if it's a banana, and the man peels the banana for the woman, that means that he's romantically interested in her. So guys, be careful peeling that banana. I think that just to highlight some of the things to really keep in mind how we handle ourselves and our mannerisms, our bodies are very important to the way people perceive us. And I know that it's impacted me in a negative way sometimes and positively in others, but ignorance is what kills us. So if you just open up your mind and learn to adjust and take into your mind the receptiveness of what it is you're doing, we'll all be better off, doesn't it?